First of all, I want to say that I am a complete dumbass. I actually forgot to turn on the microphone while I was recording the gameplay footage, so every commentary that you hear is actually spoken into it after the deed was done. So having to play this game again actually isn't that big of a disaster, seeing as how I had to get Ryu's ending from this game for my third Trifle Trailing Final Fight video at any rate, so I would have to do it regardless. Still, the fact that I have to do gold again as well is kind of a pain. But these games are easier than Street Fighter Alpha 3. So that's at least something. I don't get how that was fighting well, but I'm not gonna question it either. There's a reason why I'm showing his entire fight with Jen. I've fought him several times in the other videos of the Alpha series, and he always put up a fairly good fight, beating me a couple of times before I win. But here he just goes down without putting up too much of a struggle.
Round one, fight!
I was actually somewhat surprised that Bison isn't the final boss for Ryu, but then I realized that his actual final boss is also in his ending, but we'll see who that is in a bit. So this playthrough went relatively well, not too many deaths, and Ryu seemed to be a pretty solid character to play as. So when I was trying to decide which character to play as here, I figured that since I had already beaten this game with Guy and Rolento, I would pick the last Final Fight character that was in this one, that being Sodom, as you can tell. And then I got beaten in the very first match. I instantly regretted my decision of Sodom there. So yeah, I had a pretty good laugh when this happened. It gets him every time. I love all the terrible comebacks that you get in these dialogue scenes. This is the only comment I can think of. So overall, this went pretty well, even with the Sodom. This is also one of the few occasions where I'm gonna show the ending, since I'm not gonna use it for anything else. And in my opinion, it's one of the funnier ones, with a cameo from a previous playable character from the game. And as you can see, it's Ihana. That's pretty awesome. Also, as a fun side note, this actually did happen in the storyline canon. I think I also mentioned this in the first Trifle Training Final Fight video.
Game over.
And thank God this actually unlocked this time. So, my first idea was to actually not show the additional game that was unlocked. But since we had so much time left, I figured I'd do it anyway. When I first saw this, I thought, why are we doing Street Fighter Alpha again? But I didn't actually realize the hyper burning back there in the background. So that's pretty cool. It doesn't really have that many options. I thought it would have a arcade mode as well, but as you can see it doesn't. It only has versus and training, so I think this is mainly for multiplayer purposes. It does have this pretty sweet sound test though, which is absolutely huge. I think it probably holds the music and sound effects from all the games that are in this pack. So that's really awesome if you ask me.
こんにちは、さくらです。これはプレイステーション用の CD ロムなんだ。
So I was just messing around with it for a bit before realizing that it isn't really that interesting to watch. But it's a pretty sweet option if you unlock it, for personal use, if nothing else. So to not let this go completely to waste, I decided I would just showcase a bit of the game, or whatever there was in it, this case being the training mode. I figured since I had already used all the other Final Fight characters, Guy, Relento and Sodan, I would pick Cody here, since he was the only one of that cast that I hadn't picked yet, or played as yet, since, oh, obviously he was only in Street Fighter Alpha 3, and I had no use actually playing as him. And I decided to pick Guy, since they obviously have a history together. I also didn't really realize what those options were just now, so I just picked the first one, though looking at it now, it's probably the different playstyles from the other 4 games. But basically all I did was beat on Guy a bit, before getting bored, and just quitting. It wasn't like I was actually doing anything productive. So yeah, this was mostly rather disappointing and anticlimactical, but that's what you get sometimes. Some completion bonuses are awesome, and sometimes you have this.